Okay, says we're live. So hello, welcome. Um, Happy Sunday. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know if you are a American football family or not. um, but happy Super Bowl Sunday. It's hopefully the commercials will be good this year as well. That's always a hope. So you get some entertainment either out of the game or out of the commercials. But yeah, how we doing? Um, I made blueberry muffins this morning. They were yummy. What else? Um, Helped mom pick out a new vanity, potential new vanity, or at least what we kind of like in a vanity. We're not entirely sure how the contractor is going to do it. Are they going to pick up the one that like we specify, or are they going to go to their sources and look for one that looks like what we have asked for? Not real sure how that works in terms of this contractor. So yeah, there's that. What else? Um, I feel like I'm about to DNF this book. I really have not gotten into it, which is a shame because I know I love her other series, um, and yet I just can't seem to make myself get into it. And I rarely DNF fun books. I rarely I'll DNF nonfiction all the time. I'm just like, meh, this is not intriguing. I'm not learning enough. Whatever the case may be. But fiction books I rarely DNF. Um, and to have one like from an author that I appreciate, I'm like, because chances are if I DNF this one, I'm not going to read the other two that I own, nor the other. I think there's 5 out at this point from this series. And I'm like, chances are, like if I DNF this, I'm going to DNF the series. And it's like, by the time I've spent money on 3 of them, I feel like kind of obligated to read them. But at the same time, like I'm just not getting into it. And I don't know what the issue is. I mean, I think I kind of know, but um, I don't know. It feels I hate when like one of your safety authors, I guess it's kind of like safety food. It's like it's the thing that you turn to when you like know that you're going to get like a hit of dopamine or whatever. Um but for books, same thing, but you have particular authors or particular genres. I have authors that I follow. And so to have one of your like safety authors like have a whole series that maybe potentially just isn't it. I'm like, so no. I don't want to. I would like to at least finish this one, but at the same time, I'm like, this is like struggle lesson for me, and that's not common for me in this author. So I'm having an issue of like, do I want to try and finish it and just like power through, like sit down like one evening and like that's my to-do list is to read that. Or if I want to just DNF it and toss those books off of my TBR. So I don't know. I'm struggling. I'm struggling because like I don't want my authors to disappoint me, but I'm kind of disappointed at the moment. And it could just be me, like not in the mood to read sort of like ghosty western-esque. So I don't know. Anyway, Rachel says, "What's up? Hello, welcome." Stacy says, "Are we starting with the cleaning sprint this afternoon? Would you like to?" Let me pop that in the poll. Start with the cleaning sprint. Yes. And no. Start poll. Keiko says hi. Hi, hello, welcome. Megan says, hello. This morning I've been doing research on various disability models and trying to figure out how to make it interesting to others. When you say disability models, are you talking about the like definitions of disabilities? Are you talking about different categories of disabilities? I don't know. I guess I'd be interested to learn more. Clutch says, aha, hello. Writing for fun and nothing else. Excellent. Yes, good choice. Keiko says, I'll be right back. Need to get food? Yes. Sasha is reading Infinite Jest. You're 50% through now. You cannot DNF it. I don't DNF books. And I have literally 24 days left of reading this. Is it a 24 days later? I was going to say, is it a library book? But then that seems like a long time to rent something. Is it an audiobook? Is that what's... Anyway, Clutcha says, not that I want to DNF it, but I felt like it sometimes when I was taking 2+ hours to read your pages for the day. Yeah. Yeah. Infinite Jest was a book. Okay, so Megan has read it. I have not, so I don't know. Infinite Jest. A postmodern encyclopedic novel. Famous for its length, detail, and digressions involving 388 endnotes, some of which themselves have footnotes. Oh, I see. Categorized as an encyclopedic novel. Okay. So the genres: novel, postmodern literature, humor, science fiction, satire, tragicomedy, humorous fiction, and hysterical realism. Interesting. Somebody else says, Goodreads says, a gargantuan, mind-altering tragicomedy about the pursuit of happiness in America, set in an addict's halfway house and a tennis academy, featuring the featuring the most endearingly screwed up family to come along in recent fiction. Infinite Jest explores essential questions about what entertainment is and why it has come to dominate our lives, about how our desire for entertainment affects our need to connect with others, and about what the pleasures we choose say about who we are. Equal parts philosophical quest and screwball comedy, Infinite Jest bends every rule of fiction without sacrificing for a moment its own entertainment value. It is an exuberant, uniquely American exploration of the passions that make us human, and one of those rare books that renews the idea of what a novel can do. So there is your summary from, or your blurb from Goodreads. Sometimes there's just a slow book among other. Right. And this is, sometimes I find that like the third book in the series is better than the first two. In fact, that's how I found one of my safety authors, was I picked up the third book in a series. And then I quickly went and like devoured everything that she's ever written. So yeah. Keiko says, I started to read the first binding because you heard so much about it and it was phenomenal until the 51% mark. From there, you're just forcing yourself through, but you bought it so you cannot DNF it. Right. Yeah. Okay. I haven't heard of the first binding either. Book by R.R. Verdi. And it's the first in a series. Sometimes it's hard. So genres: high fantasy, fantasy fiction, fairy tale, genealogy, adventure fiction. Genealogy as a genre. Interesting. I guess it must be like family, like bloodline. All legends are born of truth, and just as much lies. These are mine. Judge me for what you will, but you will hear my story first. I buried the village of Ampur under the mountain of ice and snow. Then I killed their god. I've stolen old magics and been cursed for it. I started a war with those that walked before mankind and lost the princess I loved and wanted to save. I've called lightning and bound fire. I'm a legend and I am a monster. My name is Ari, and this is the story of how I let loose the first evil. Interesting. It sounds like a premise that could be good. I have hesitations because the blurb is written in first person and I have issues with first person. Anyway, Stacy says, Size had to go and change the youngest because she put her pants again. Oh no. 1,000 Great Books. Hello. Welcome. The internet is struggling. Oh no. Okay, so Megan has more information about the disability models. They don't define what is or is not a disability. Instead, they define ways that disabilities are perceived, and from the perceived cause of disability to the way that disability should be. Interesting. Okay. So is this like... I'm trying to wrap my brain around. So visible, like physical injuries versus like the invisible illness type thing. And the whole like, well, you don't look disabled crap. That kind of stuff, I guess. Clutches says, I have 2 copies. It's 577,000 words long. That's a long. You bought the paperback and the ebook. Gotcha. Do you read them in tandem then? Do you have like the audio as you were reading, or do you just like when you run out of power in your phone or your tablet or whatever, go for the scene and therefore, okay, yeah. Becca says, hello, welcome. You were debating on whether or not you need to clean your kitchen, so you're thinking whether the vote is yes or no for cleaning sprint. You should probably clean regardless. Gotcha. 1,000 Great Books is going to be reading for the sprints tonight. Excellent. First Binding is marketed as The Name of the Wind-esque, okay, and a booktuber who you like watching recommended it, but you're just forcing yourself through. The prose at the beginning is phenomenal. Ooh, okay, interesting. But then it kind of tapers off. Stacy says, I would be interested in learning more about the disability models. For example, there's the moral model, which says disabilities are struggles. Oh, given by God. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know that I have ever heard of like the disability models. So this is interesting. So yeah, I would say there's definitely room for educating us, for sure. And maybe you could, I don't know if you want to start off with the like, well, you don't look disabled type of thing and like go from there, because that's something I think everybody has heard someone say. So Klacha says, I read the ebook and keep the paperback for your personal library, more visual representation for you to keep the physical copies of the books you like and have finished. Gotcha. Megan says, the medical model says disabilities are something to be cured to get people perfectly, quote unquote, normal. Interesting. Even though a good many of disabilities don't necessarily have a cure, they're just like, you're having to learn to deal with them and live with them. There's no... Anyway. And there goes that normal again, right? Okay, so we have 8 votes in. There are 13 people watching. So lurkers, if you have a druther on cleaning sprint or not, do please vote in the poll. I will go ahead and pull a card. We have the elephant, learning from the past. My under laptop is getting a wee bit messy. So, okay, elephant. Dragonfly, eagle, electric eel, elephant. All right. I will go ahead and end the poll. We have just yes has edged out no. So we will do a quick 5-minute cleaning sprint. And then we will get to writing. So, but here's our card for the day. Elephant Spirit, learning from the past. Although we often wish we could leave the past behind, Elephant reminds us that memory matters. We must respect the wisdom of the elders who hand down to us traditions they have shaped to express our connection with each other and respect for the community. What has come before informs what we are experiencing today, and we must never forget our legacy of strength and dignity. The elephant appears with the message that we are to acknowledge that which came before and learn from it. All of us are memory-based creatures, and we must revisit the past to understand where we are and where we are going. The stories of events that you experienced, the stories in our collective memory, and the stories of relationships you have had can be told in many ways. What story will you tell? The elephant is here to encourage you to make it one that stirs in you a sense of power and dignity, for you have honored yourself by choosing to learn from your past. The spirit rejoices at your willingness to learn and grow. So there is the animal card for the day. Stacy has pulled a card. Season of the Witch, Imbolc, candle dressing, sharp as nails, engraving my will, intentions spoken, declare what will be. So 1,000 Great Books, these are oracle cards. So they are not quite like tarot cards in that they don't have a specific set number. If you find a set of tarot cards, they will always have the core 72 cards. Oracle cards have a varying number depending on what the creator and illustrator choose to put together. So I recommend Colette Baron Reed's website because she has a couple of different oracle decks that you can virtually pull from. So that way you can try out the decks without having to buy them. But yeah. All right, let's do the cleaning sprint and get this underway. We're just going to do the 5 minutes cleaning sprint. Share screen. And again, for those of you who have not seen this yet, this is my cleaning sprint timer, and things are going to disappear and reappear neatly. So they are, they are going to, things are going to disappear from the screen, essentially. So don't freak out when the timer changes. So here we go. 5-minute cleaning sprint in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, how was that? How was that 5-minute clean? Did you manage to get um okay, that's appropriate. Um Sorry, that was a little note to myself. I think I managed to clean like the majority of the disk space that I use with about a minute left. I did go to the kitchen and get myself something to drink because I had neglected to get myself something to drink for today. So I have cran raspberry with 7 Up in it because that was on the counter. Not exactly the most healthiest of drinks, but it is something. So, I know Becca said you were going to clean the kitchen. Stacy had asked for you were on a roll trying to get some stuff cleaned. You got quite a bit up off the floor. Excellent. Good. Good, good. I should probably make a 10-minute one just to like give ourselves like a longer clean. But 5 minutes is nice because it's just like really short time. So you don't have to feel overwhelmed of like, oh, I have to clean everything. It's just like just 5 minutes. That's it. So yeah. Rachel says, yay, put away stuff that you were letting pile up. Excellent. Good. Good, good. Yeah, I've got a bunch of mail that has to be sorted and filed, and I've been putting that off. So, but I did not do that this time because that's going to take more than 5 minutes. Rachel says, we've gotten through 4 chapters of revisions this weekend. Nice. You're going to work on more today. That's amazing. Yes. Yes, yes. Fantastic. All right. So now that we have had our cleaning sprint, we can go into real sprints. I mean, that was a real sprint too, but let's see. Pulling up the chamomile, making it big. Katja says, I have this little thing called a bunch of schoolwork due in the next 7 days. So that's really fun. That is fun. But you did say that you were going to do fun writing today. Writing for fun and nothing else today. So, but your choice. If you feel like you need to work on your schoolwork, that's up to you. But, choices. Megan says, I showered during the cleaning sprint. Wow, that was a fast shower. I've never been able to do fast showers, so I am impressed by the people who do. Clutch says, we haven't had anything due in most of the classes until this week, so now everything is due this week. Yeah. Yeah. One of those classes, huh? All right, let's do this. Go ahead, and if you have not been working today, pull up whatever document or documents you think you might be working on today. Here we go. And pick up where I left off. Okay. All right. Now that we have that done, save it. 2, take a sip. Cheers. Keiko's like, what? How? That fast? In terms of Megan's shower? Yeah. Oh, you started slightly before the tarot pull. Okay, gotcha. Or before the oracle pull. Gotcha. Gotcha. Stacy was trying to clean up some of your cards and you're missing an oracle deck. I wonder where it is. Could one of your children have it? So 2 is sip, 3 is straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check, and 4 is make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Here we go, 25 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. How we doing? How are we doing? My main character at the moment is stirring up drama. Stirring the pot, causing chaos. Fun. Um, so yeah. Um, fun. All right, let me see how much I got. Again, this is drafting, so 1104, which is very good, especially for a first sprint. Writing tracker. Okay. Can I move those or no? I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm looking at the two blue stickies and I'm trying to remember what numbers they are. I don't remember off the top of my head. So I guess I will see at the end of the day. I will try and write as much as I can, and then at the end of the day, I will move however many stickies I need to. Yeah, that's how we're doing. Let's see. During that sprint, how did you do? Let's see. JK came in and said hello. Becca said, just finished cleaning the kitchen. Yay. Unfortunately, you have to take off, but honestly, cleaning the kitchen will be the best present to myself when I get home later. So thank you. You're welcome and have fun. Glad you got your water and, of course, decided to leave it on your desk instead of bringing it next to your bed where you're writing. Yep, this happens. Thousand Great Book says there's a random book that I bought on Amazon called Ponty. I were looking for recent fiction written by a Singaporean. Does the blurb look good? Does it seem like it would be interesting? Hopefully so. Let's see. JK is busy scanning documents for your mom and also working on your bakery rivals to lovers work in progress, which is currently project titled Project Sugar and Spice. Which is great. It's a great working title. Megan agrees. It sounds like a fun project. Stacy was trying to find that deck, did not succeed, only got 151 words. Excellent. Rachel says, got through the whole chapter. Excellent. Yay. It's amazing. Charles, hello. Welcome. And Megan says, you worked on coming up with questions people might have about the 9 disability models that you want to focus on. You're definitely turning this into a series, but you need to touch on all 9 at first. True. Is there some sort of graphic that could help? If there does not exist a graphic, you could always create a graphic. Things like that. So I don't know if it's like a pyramid type thing, a branching thing, Venn diagram, flow chart. Don't quite know what kind of graphic that 9 model would look like. So Keiko says, I'm suffering from obsession with a playlist for a Baldur's Gate 3 character for days now, but at least you've opened your documents. Yes, you have opened your documents, which is great. That's the first step. So you've been creating a playlist for Baldur's Gate 3 characters for a singular character. Either one. If it's your main character, that's fine. If it's the villain, also fine. If it's like side character, maybe shorter playlist. Because like, oh, that's right, I could make graphic. You definitely could. And I highly suggest it. Especially if you are doing a multiple part a multiple post series, and that way you could like have, I don't know, like a different colored border around the one that you were highlighting in particular, or you could just continue to repost that graphic, depending on however you want to do it. Keiko says, no, it's a playlist that someone else created for the character, and it's amazing. Ooh, excellent. You have 3 playlists for your own stories. They're long and full of super duper spoilery songs. Oh, very nice. I'm assuming that they are full of spoilers because of lyrics. I'm assuming. Or because of the title of your playlist. I don't know. 1,000 Great Books, it says, do writers and artists have a philosophy of art and aesthetics? It doesn't have to be explicitly comprehensive. Vague ideas would do too, I guess. So question is, do you have one? Yes, I think writers and artists have philosophies of how, or aesthetics. It can be as simple as whose stream was it last night? That was talking. I think it was Jenna the Soul Writer, was asking whether or not most of your character names begin with consonants or vowels, or like what hair color and eye color do your characters have? And she tends to have blue and green eyes more commonly than any other color. So there's definitely aesthetics that go into your, like, what you write, places that you name. It also comes up in like the landscapes that you describe. Do you have much of a description of your landscape? Is it something that you pull from? Is the natural world? Do you pull from describing urban areas and what that looks like? And in terms of philosophy, yes, absolutely. And that can be in like whether or not you have a happily ever after for always, happily ever for now, if you have like open endings, if you have tragic endings, like the philosophy of like how does your story world ends is like a huge thing for a lot of writers. And I think more intentionally is like whether or not you have a conscious message in your story. So like if you take Studio Ghibli's, a lot of Studio Ghibli's films, they're beautiful, but there's always like some sort of underlying message. Like several of them, Princess Mononoke and Nausicaa, very much about how humans tend to wreck the earth and nature, and there's going to be consequences for that type of thing. So whether or not you have that kind of message in your story, consciously or unconsciously, that is a huge thing. Whether or not you have like an individual bad guy versus like a corporation bad guy, like bad guy entity. Or whether or not your government is corrupt, whether or not, so those kind of things are very much a part of a writer and an artist's philosophy. Whether or not it is conscious is something that is up to each writer. Some people may not be conscious of them doing it. Some people become conscious of it as they are editing and revising. They're like, oh, this is popping up a lot. Maybe this is a theme in my writing, type of thing. But yeah, there's always an aesthetic, and there is always some sort of hidden philosophy or viewpoint. So yes. Keiko says, yeah. Songs that fit the character and certain things like that are happened or happening to characters. Yes, in terms of like the spoilery stuff. Megan says in terms of 1,000 Great Books question about philosophy and aesthetics, you definitely do, both as a writer and as an artist. Yours is still extraordinarily vague. Yours are kind of rebellious as well. Yeah. Oftentimes we do tend to buck the norm. Yes. That's why so many of our characters oftentimes are morally gray or take actions that are like against the rules, even the rules that like your character sets out for themselves. Oftentimes you meet other characters that either show your character that it's okay to step outside the rules or things like that. So Keiko says, when I started writing a lot of my characters, all females, uh, now you have some males, but still mostly females as main character. But a lot of your characters had red hair and blue/green eyes. Now they have mostly black hair. Gotcha. Okay. Stacy says, most of my main characters have a trait that I have that I can exploit in my writing because it is something that you know. Yes. Something familiar. Something recognizable. Yeah. There are certain words that seem to have gone out of fashion, such as the word soul may be replaced by self nowadays. Interesting. Okay. As a reader, how many repetitions of old words would you allow as a writer? I think this depends on your editing, whether or not you are editing for single word choice, or because there does become a point where if you are going for specific older fashioned or fancier words, it can sound pedantic. But at the other time, like if you are writing a historical romance, you should be putting in like historically appropriate words. So that kind of depends on the time period that you're writing in. It depends on your own voice, like what's the level of vocabulary and what's the level of complexity that you want in your sentences. And that also depends on your target readers. If you are writing a children's book, you want to sprinkle in some larger vocabulary words, but you don't want to have the parents be like, every other word, this is a word that means XYZ. The kids aren't going to necessarily enjoy that if like it's a story time thing. Same thing happens with like a chapter book. Yeah, you want to like sprinkle in some terms to grow vocabulary, but you don't want it to be a slog. You want your character, your readers to enjoy and be able to read the story. That's always a thing. So it depends on your target audience. It depends on your own purpose for writing the book. Are you writing to educate? Are you writing to entertain? Depends on the genre again and time period. How many repetitions of old words would you allow a writer before you DNF work? So in terms of like how repetitive would it have to be before I DNF, which we were talking about me struggling with DNFing this or not. This is not because of like the wordplay. The words are fine. The words are great. I just apparently am not in the mood for ghosts and like throw flashbacks to old westerns, which is essentially what this kind of is. So that's more of a genre thing than it is a how it's written thing. For me, rather than a word choice, grammar and capitalization and typos and stuff like that, which is editing. Like, did you have an editor that looked at it? Unless it is like, if it is an intentional issue with grammar and typos and all that. So if you have a character that is learning to read or write, or if you have a character who is partially illiterate and you are writing it in a epistolary or diary or letter style, like I can forgive a good many typos and issues. But if it is written in first person, like thoughts, or if it is written in third person, and like this is supposed to be a finished novel, and I am catching typos and errors every line or two, that's going to bother me. But the word choice doesn't bother me as much, unless it's like, you know, half the words on the page are cuss words. Like, then I might put it down because of the words. But usually it's not because of repetition of things like soul or self, if that makes sense. Hopefully this is helping. Stacey says, aha, I found the missing deck and about 5 more because they were in a box about 2 inches from your main box. You thought the other cards were in a different box, and that is your spillover box. Gotcha. Keiko says, my characters vaguely are always off to avenge something. You like a story like that? Yeah, again, that's a sort of philosophical, like, you got to pay people back who do you wrong. And that's a philosophy. Stacey says, like, my female main character in the story does some genealogy, which is familiar to you. Yep. Megan says, mine mostly have brown hair, brown eyes. You would give everyone freckles too if it wouldn't make it too obvious that you're modeling characters after yourself. Some of them can have freckles. Absolutely. Keiko says, exactly. That's why when I read romantasy, I quite quickly DNF when it's too modern, when it's supposed to be high fantasy world. Okay. Yeah, in terms of the speech. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, in terms of like, if it's an inappropriate terminology for the era or for the fantasy, then it might, yeah. Interesting stuff. You'll keep it in mind about diction. Okay. Yes. Hopefully I didn't like rattle on too long about fitting away the character talks of their level of education. Yeah. You don't want to give like college vocabulary level to like someone who only finished like a 3rd grade education and like didn't do their own studying after the fact. Like, yeah. Keiko says, I have that in one of my stories where the main character has multiple lifetimes, and in sometimes she has 0 education, and others the best that there is. Okay, so in that case, though, that is explained, in which makes sense. Grammar will get you to stop reading far faster than word choice. Yeah. The only book you ever DNF'd was supposed to be a fully finished novel, but you couldn't get through 3 paragraphs without finding a grammar or spelling error, so you kept knocking you out of the story. Yeah. Megan says, unless they're using it wrong and just trying to sound more intelligent. This is also a good point. Yeah. Yeah, I think what's the Christopher Paolini's Paolini? What's the I have one somewhere over here. I have the newer book somewhere. Anyway, but his Aragon series, the Dragon series. We had an arc in my high school library. And it had not gone through the last like 1 or 2 editors passes. I will say that. And I could not, I was like, this is terrible writing. Why is this in our life? And then I realized I looked into, because it had like plastered over the front, like ARC copy or whatever. And so I was like, well, what is an ARC copy, and why is it so bad? And so then I looked into what is an ARC, and I figured it out, and I was like, oh, okay, this kind of makes sense. So I think our librarian must have gotten it somehow either as a like promotional thing, or from the like children's literature conference type Peach Award stuff. They were like sending it out early to try and get people to read it and then vote for it in the award stuff, award season. And she went ahead and put it in the library, and I read it because it had a dragon on the front. Of course I read it. But I was just like, wow, there are so many errors in this. I've never seen, a published book have this many errors in it. Why is it so? So yeah, that was about the time. And like, I was just, the whole time through, I was like, wow, I really like, this is, like, my mother would never let me turn in a paper that was this this bad in high school. Like, why is this person getting a whole book deal? Anyway, that was my, I kept getting knocked out of the story because of the grammar in it. And I don't think I ever went back and read like the edited version, because I was just like, I really don't want to. So I don't know. But anyway, so yes, Paolini, Aragon, yes. You're trying to up the vocabulary, sentence structure, style, etc. as the protagonist grows up, which is where you're having some of that trouble. Gotcha. Okay. Megan says, I felt that way about Alexandre Dumas' Last Cavalier. So many errors, and it's an edited, supposedly published book. I don't think I've read that one. Interesting. Yeah. It's fun, although revising is like pulling teeth. Yeah. Like, unless you look at it as sort of like a game, I don't know how you gamify editing at that level. Like, do you set yourself out like a Skittle? Every time you find 10 errors, you like pop a Skittle or something. I don't know. I'd be munching on like bag after bag after bag of Skittles. Anyway, okay, let's go ahead and get to our next sprint because we've been chatting for a bit. Second sprint is the self-promo sprint. So if you have something you would like to promote, please make sure that you do so during the second sprint. If you have a blue wrench, you will be able to post direct links. If not, you will not be able to. So if you have a YouTube channel, Twitch channel, Etsy store, Amazon author page, website, blog, social media handles, etc., please let us know where we can find you. Especially if you have a book out recently, book coming out soon, or book on sale. Let us know where we can find you and your books. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and 1, save your document. 2, take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, rolling your shoulders back for that posture check. 4, make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Also, my self promo is subscribe if you are not and you are enjoying. There we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, just wanted to finish that sentence. So I did. How are we doing? So my main character stirred up some trouble, and then, ooh, I need to fix some of those typos, but maybe I won't do that right now. Okay. Okay. I crossed the 78,000 for the year. Not quite to 20,000 for this month, but we are making our way. So I think I can move both of those stickies, if not one more, depending on, I can't remember. Anyway, because those are stickies for the quarter rather than for the month. So anyways, how we doing? Hit the save. Scroll back down. Don't forget that was the second sprint. So if you had a self promo, please pop that in the chat. Okay. Keiko said, I tried to read the Three Musketeers, but I got so fed up with D'Artagnan constantly feigning that you DNF'd after about 50 pages. He fainted more than Frodo in the entirety of Lord of the Rings. Fun. Megan's self-promo. This week's post is about your sad birthday. Birthdays and Bereavements is the title of the post, so you can find it there, or you can check out some of Megan's other stuff via the link tree. JK says, speaking of self-promo, I'm raising money to commission character art for Project Sugar and Spice, your bakery rivals to lovers work in progress. So here's the link for that, if you guys can spare some money. Keiko says, you've been listening to a new playlist that you found and seeing if you like it. Nice. Megan came up with some questions to answer, and now you're trying to figure out how to answer them. Excellent. Stacy says 239 words. I guess you're aiming for the slow but steady award today, which is perfectly fine. Lexi got 2,161 words. Amazing, as always. Rachel says, I just added another companions beginning scene to your Ream account. So there is Rachel's Ream account link. These are free for followers. You're just asking for feedback. Nice. Keiko says there was one song that I liked and nothing else on that playlist. You will continue to listen to the BG Baldur's Gate 3 character playlist. Nice. There was something. So I'm pretty sure that y'all know about my journal and washi tape obsession at this point. And then, so I still have not put together, like, here's the Archer and Olive A5 journal that I'm using for my reading journal. But I'm on their mailing list. So I saw that they have some sort of they have a new, that's not it either. So apparently they're coming up on like a self-care box set type of thing. And one of the things is that they are going to have it's like a deck of cards, like a Joker with 4 suites and all that. And so I don't know if it's like on their website yet. It probably is somewhere. don't know if it's like the quarterly subscription. I don't know what it is, but I think it was Archer and Olive. I'm pretty sure it was. Anybody else who's on Archer and Olive, can you like confirm that I'm not insane? That I have in fact. Nope, wasn't that one. I don't know. I'll have to find it. But they were cute. And I was considering them, but I also like don't know the price of them. So I was like, so yeah. So there was something, and I'm pretty sure it was from Archer and Olive. Pretty sure. But anyway, I'll have to find it at some point. But yeah, that was my side thought. That was just sparked by Megan's. You came up with some questions to answer. Now you're trying to figure out how to answer them. Some of them were question prompts, so that was why my brain tried to make that connection. All right, let's do another sprint. I think I kind of want the Babbling Brook, maybe. Yeah, that sounds good. So this one does have the ambient water sounds. So if that bothers you, please feel free to mute during this next sprint. All right, let's do this. 1, save your document. 2, take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, getting frame. 4, make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. How we doing? That was sprint number 3. Technically 4 if you count the cleaning sprint at the beginning. But there we go. Okay, I have now crossed the 20,000 for the month, which is great. Ideally, I should have hit that mark yesterday. Ideally, that's what I should have hit yesterday. But we still have half an hour. I can still get some more words in. And hopefully be close to catching up to where I'm technically supposed to be if I'm writing 2K every day or averaging 2K every day. But yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm going to save this. Scroll back down to where I was. Save. All right. Let's see. Heather is here. Hello. Welcome. How are you? Rachel said, "Oh my God, this scene! I'm nearly in tears. Why must villains make us so damn weepy?" That's a good villain, though. You know, that's good. That's a sign of a good villain. Keiko says, "I switched my fanfic. Excellent." Lexi got 1,933. Amazing. It's fantastic. Lexi always does good. Stacy says, "I got 351 words that sprint, but 209 were old words that you just had to retype. But you were editing as you did it, I'm sure. But still, new words in this document." Yes. Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to save because paranoid. And then I'll just pop us into the next sprinty sprint. I'm thinking another 30 minutes. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see. Let's do the rainbow record. Let's see. Keiko says, "I also needed to switch the playlist because I saw a video about one of the worst, if not the worst endings for Baldur's Gate 3, and I am shocked." Oh no. Rachel says the villain, his scene will be a huge surprise to the people who have never read the prequels. It's the reveal of a secret relationship. Ooh. Gotta love that. All right. So here we go. Stacey says, "I'm probably only going to be writing for about 15 minutes because you need to go pick up dinner." Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, and this will be fourth. Yeah. Fourth major sprint. So 1, save your document. 2, take a sip if you have not already finished off whatever it is that you're hydrating with. So cheers. 3, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. How was that? Let's see how well I did. Okay. Okay. I think I'm probably about 2/3 of the way through this scene. I might come back during Julie's sprints this evening and get some more done. Because I'm not going to be watching the Super Bowl, so maybe I'll get that done then. And catch back up to where I'm supposed to be in terms of like monthly word count. So I finished 2 scenes, working on a third. So that's where I got to today. Not bad. Rachel and Stacy had to go do the dinner thing. Stacy got about 276 words in about 15 minutes, which brought your total to 1,017 words. Yay! And Stacy's also going to be over at Julie's tonight. So, Cool Gamer popped in and said hello. Hello, welcome. Kiko says a lot of people here in Germany watch the Super Bowl, but more for like just being able to say they watched it and then being interested in it. Right. Yeah. Is it, I think it's anticipated to yeah, so I think it's anticipated to be highly watched, partially because it's a Super Bowl, but I think there's more buzz around it because Taylor Swift's boyfriend, significant other, plays for the Chiefs. So yeah, that's also an added level of that. Plus the the halftime show is always a big deal. So yeah. But anyway, but that's like you watch it to say you watched it most of the time, most people. And then have an excuse to drink adult beverages, that kind of stuff. So anyway, apparently the Monday after the Super Bowl is like the I want to say the single day in a year that the most like headache, like powder or headache medicine gets purchased from hangovers and stuff. So same with the World Cup. A lot of people are suddenly football fans when the World Cup is in play, right? Yeah. Yeah. And that's like, I think really the only games that we tended to watch in our house for like college level would be when 2 of the 3 colleges from our household were playing. So I think I've said this before, but I don't know how long it's been since I've said it. My mom is a Florida Gator, my dad is a Florida Gator. My mom is a Florida Seminole. So those 2 are the in-state rivals. And then Florida, University of Florida and University of Georgia are sort of like rivals in and of themselves. So anytime one of those 2 games was on, that was like a thing in our house. So, and then I usually watch the Super Bowl for the halftime show and the commercials. So when the game would start going, I'd start either asking my dad questions of like, oh, well, what is that, what is that person's role? Like, did he catch that? Is that allowed? Like, what's going on? And then eventually, like, I would annoy him so much that I would just like disappear while the football was going on and come back for the commercials in the halftime. That tells you how much I am a fan of football. Anyway, so don't forget to save, and I will see y'all in the chats, and I will see y'all tomorrow. I don't have things scheduled yet, but I will get things scheduled for next week. Is there riot police when there is an American football game. Generally, most of the stadiums do have some security, but so it's not like European football in terms of like, and I don't know if it's because there are more teams and it's split between college level and professional level. But I feel like there aren't as many like threats of riots, if that makes sense. But anyway, yeah. So, but I could be delusional. I don't know because I'm not a diehard fan. So, you know. But anyway, don't forget to save, don't forget to sip, stand up, stretch, do all that kind of fun stuff. And I will see y'all soon. Thanks for the support while writing and the company while writing. And I will see y'all soon. Bye.